Morning, everybody. My name's John Vallance. I'm the director of the State Library, and I've been given the task of settling everybody down. But you're all so angelic that it's been a very easy task. The very warmest of welcomes to every single one of you to the State Library of New South Wales. We were to have been joined this morning by the Deputy Premier and Minister for Education, the Honourable Prue Carr. We've just heard a few minutes ago that she's not at all well. She was really looking forward to being here, and I gather she's quite upset that she can't be with us. So the rest of us are going to have to make it worth your while. So to get that started, I'm very pleased to hand over now to Sara Mansour, who's going to start the proceedings. Sara.
Thank you so much, and welcome everyone to the 2023 New South Wales Student Literary Awards. Woo! I know usually in a library they say to be quiet, but let's make some noise. It's so exciting to be here today. Yes! Amazing. So to help us kick things off, I will welcome Uncle Michael West from the Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council to do a welcome to country. Please make him welcome.
I'd like to say Bujari Gamarua Gadigalliora, good day and welcome to Gadigalliora country here. I was going to say how important it is for people to write, to share their stories, to have yarns. As you know, our culture is all about sharing stories and about yarning. And it's so important too, I think, with the younger generations, I can see here and no doubt online, that we do learn to work and walk together for better outcomes for our society. And that right now I think we're going through some interesting times in the world, and we need to care for Mother Earth. It's so important. When you think about it, because the future generations will inherit that earth. So we've got to care for her, get back to caring for country and respecting her. We've seen floods, we've seen firestorms, we've seen drought. We need to really care, the ceremonial burning, and understanding that everything in the scheme of things, from the particle of dust to the drop of rain to the cockatoo to the wonderful sacred ibis, are all connected. And just a point with the sacred ibis, it is the sacred ibis. Please don't call me a bin chicken, thank you. But the only reason they are in the city, and they probably look a little bit dirty sometimes, is because we haven't been caring for country, and we need to remember that, and we need to look after all the animals, everything, because we are all part of the scheme of things. We all have our part to play. And it's great, the stories, I think, is so important, the awards, and that everyone is a winner who's writing. It's so important to share the stories. When you share stories with people, you learn about others, but you also reflect and learn more about yourself. So it's important to keep doing that. And we encourage everyone to share their stories. And we are going through some times now where we are having some tough conversations about voice, treaty and truth, but we always must do that with treating people with dignity and respect, and treating people the way you want to be treated, I think is a great way to go. We just have a moment's silence to pay respects to ancestors, pay respects to those who've gone before us, pay respects to Mother Earth, pay respects to all Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander tradition owners, and reflect your journey right here, right now, and to remember those we've lost the last few years through the pandemic. Remember they're not just numbers, they're people who have their own dreams and aspirations, as our young people here, and everyone in the audience here and online, and they had their own names, their own families, their own communities. So if we just have a moment's silence just to reflect and pay respects, thank you. We have three beautiful waterways, the Hawkesbury, Nepean and Georges, which are the aquatic boundaries of Euro Nation. To my Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander brothers and sisters out here, we warmly welcome from clan, tribe, nation and community. country. And to all our brothers and sisters, we all remember we belong to one big mob, don't we? And that's humanity. We warmly welcome you for your family, your community, your neighbourhood, your school, ultimately the country you come from. We share planet Earth, and we can always do better. We're supposed to be the intelligent species on Earth. We can be better sometimes, and that's always not demonstrated. But I think the younger people coming through are respecting people and respecting people's rights and who they are. You should be able to fulfil your dreams and aspirations. So from Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council members and elders, welcome here, enjoy the day. Congratulations to everyone, you're all winners for sharing stories. And always was, always will be Aboriginal land never ceded. Have a good weekend coming up. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very warm welcome. And I'd also like to invite Daniel McDonald to deliver a special welcome to country. He is the founder of Deadly Hand Talk, and you'll see why it's special in just a second. Please make Daniel feel welcome as well.
Hello. Hello, my name is Daniel McDonald. I'm a proud deaf Aboriginal man. My mob are from the Wonnarua land in the Hunter Valley region. I grew up in Sydney on Gadigal land, and I'm a member of the Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council, and also I'm involved in the First Peoples Disability Network. And I'm here today to welcome you on Gadigal country. I'd like to pay my respect to elders past and present and acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander brothers and sisters here today. It doesn't matter if you're Indigenous or non-Indigenous, we are all brothers and sisters. As we joyfully gather on this meeting place here today, it is only right that we pay our respects to the traditional custodians of these lands and waters. Today is the 15th of September, and we have the special award here in the State Library. What a lovely old building this is. I would like to say you are all winners. Your name's on the list for 2023 as a nomination. I'm proud of you all here today. I would like to congratulate each and every one of you. On Gadigal land here today, it's a wonderful opportunity to meet you all and to listen to each other, to what you have to say. Listen to your friends, your family and your teacher, and I'm sure they're all proud of you as well. We need to remember it's time to come together and to listen. It's time now to focus on your goals. And that ties me into my story. My story is on inclusion. It's very important on who we are here. We're all beautiful and we're all included. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter that we don't know each other or where we're from around the world. We're here today to have a lot of laughs and smiles. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel, and again to Uncle Michael West for warmly welcoming us to these amazing awards today. So it's my pleasure to be hosting today's event to celebrate the absolutely outstanding writing that's taking place in the state schools from Mullumbimby to Newcastle to where the Bankstown Poetry Slam is located in Western Sydney, which is the arts organisation that I founded 10 years ago. I'd like to warmly welcome all of you here today and acknowledge some special guests. Dr. Paul Cale, Executive Director of Curriculum Reform here on behalf of NESA, CEO Paul Martin, Dr. John Valence, the State Librarian, as well as representatives from Catholic Schools New South Wales, the Association of Independent Schools New South Wales, the Department of Education, the New South Wales Education Standards Authority, and the WriteOn and Young Writers Showcase judges. So the awards here today bring together two events recognising outstanding writing from New South Wales school students. And today we'll be celebrating the winners of the Primary School WriteOn competition 2023, which is open to students from Year 1 to Year 6, and also recognise the very best 2022 HSC students from English Extension 2 who had their major work selected for publication in the Young Writers Showcase. In terms of my journey with writing, growing up, kind of going to school, I used to read a lot and I used to love reading, and I actually wanted to become a writer when I was in primary school. And I even had an email address that was Writing Forever. But ironically, it was the number 4 and ever was spelt wrong, EVA. And somewhere along the way, I kind of gave up on that dream. I thought that it wasn't realistic, and I thought that no one would want to hear about the stories that I have to tell. And it wasn't really until I started to watch spoken word poetry online that my love for writing and storytelling was reignited. And so I started writing and performing my own poetry, and not long after I started the Bankstown Poetry Slam, which has grown to be the largest live poetry event in the country, which is, I think, is worthy of applause. Thank you. It's been a very important journey for me as a person. It's helped me develop my confidence, but it's also really helped me see the value and the importance of storytelling. We live in one of the most diverse countries in the world, and Sydney especially is really diverse, and we're better for all of that diversity. And it goes beyond, the food or the other kinds of contributions that we see, the colourful clothing and the exchange of different cultural traditions. It enriches all of us because it makes us feel like we can all belong and that we're all worthy of being celebrated. So later on, we have some of our Bankstown Poetry Slam poets who'll be performing some work. They're just here at the front, and they're very, very excited to also be here today. But yeah, so that's a kind of a bit of a background about my journey with, writing and storytelling. And so I'm just so honoured to be here today, to be celebrating, some of the best up-and-coming writers in the state, and to bear witness to greatness. And I'm sure that in the future, we should take selfies with everyone, because I'm sure in the future there are going to be some really, really famous people that were here today. Okay, and I'd like to now, in lieu of Purukar unfortunately being unable to be here, I'd like to invite Dr. Paul Cowell to give a small speech, and then we'll get on with the award ceremony. So please make Dr. Cowell feel welcome.
thank you, Sarah, very, very much. And can I say, Michael and Daniel have already shown what a very special day this is, with a very, very special welcome. So I very, very much appreciate that. I'd also like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we're on. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, extend that respect to Aboriginal people with us today. And I have to say, I know the Deputy Premier will be enormously disappointed. I know how much she really wanted to come here to celebrate such wonderful, talented writers here in New South Wales. From our very young writers to our young adult writers. Quite a remarkable achievement, and it's wonderful to be here at the State Library. Already the observation of what a beautiful building it is, and it's more than a beautiful building, it's a great repository of knowledge, and we really appreciate the great partnership we have with the State Library, and certainly Dr. Valance's support throughout, with a number of ventures indeed. So thank you also for those who are joining us online and who are watching us live. It's great to welcome you to this event as well. The New South Wales Student Literary Awards bring together aspiring writers from primary school and the 2022 higher school certificate. As I say, the whole continuum of learning from year 1 through to year 12. Our young writers proudly come from every corner of the state and all sectors of the education community. You are our future generation. And it's a celebration of really the world-class education that's taking place in New South Wales, a great tribute to our young people, a great tribute to their parents and families, but also a great tribute to their teachers as well, who take such great care of them in their learning, their growth and their development. It takes a strong education system with high-quality resources and committed teachers to harness the best of our talent. And today we've got the best of our writing talent here in the room with us, and thankfully online as well. It was very, very special to read that one student featured in the Young Writers Showcase, Andy Lawrence, lists her teachers from Camden High as the inspiration for her writing. I'll love them forever, Andy tells us. How wonderful that she recognises the unique role of outstanding teachers and what that has meant for her as she goes on to pursue studies at the University of Wollongong, continuing the journey of learning, which is a lifelong event. This year's Literary Awards throw a spotlight on the full scope of writing opportunities being nurtured in our schools. Whether it's children in Year 1 conjuring creative tales of camels wandering through the desert, or HSC students using their work to be a voice for people on the margins of our communities. We have aspiring writers with us today as young as 6, published writers. These little ones and all the New South Wales students from years 1 to 6 will be building their literacy with the benefit of a new world-class English syllabus, part of the government's ongoing curriculum reform program. Now in its 14th year, 14 years is quite something to celebrate as well. This year's WriteOn has attracted more than 640 entries from 330 public, independent and Catholic schools, as well as from students who learn from our syllabuses at home. It was interesting and varied interpretations of the stimulus image that were presented. This year's stimulus was a picture that showed camels walking through the bush. 7-year-old Isaac Quinnell from Cardiff Public School told us about an outback camping trip. He skillfully named a lot of Australian flora and fauna and told us how a precious book sharing knowledge of bush tucker saved the campers after a hungry dingo ate all their supplies overnight. Hilary Ewan from Year 4 at Peakhurst Public School told us about how camels feel during relentless desert journeys in her gifted poetic style. The wearied camels labour and grunt in despair, groaning and bellowing beneath the sun's glare. They search in the wilderness for a bubbling spring, for the blessings and bliss an oasis will bring. And I'm delighted to say that this is Hilary's third year as a WriteOn winner. 1 silver and 2 gold. Well done and congratulations to Hilary. Congratulations to all of you who wrote a piece selected for the Best of WriteOn. It's really important to note you are published authors. I am much, much, much older than you, and I'm not. At the other end of the school journey, this year's Young Writers Showcase features the very best of work from HSC English Extension in last year's HSC. Everything from a sitcom script, about writing a sitcom script, to an examination of how personal experience shapes the way we recount history, and a poetry collection that considers the impact of mental health on the creation of art. Ritu Saha from Muirfield High School shared a valuable insight into the power of her writing, telling us, "This allowed me to discover so much about my family, my voice, and my identity. Something that is worth so much more than good marks, something I can keep in my heart forever." How very special that is. Among those published in the Young Writers Showcase are young adults now studying to be lawyers and criminologists, film directors and doctors, IT specialists and journalists. Very talented young people. While perhaps only a handful want to take to the stage as a slam poet or make a living as a published writer, I know you all understand the intrinsic value of good written communication. No matter what occupation you pursue or industry you have chosen, writing is centrally important. Once again, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Dr. Valance and the State Library for all the support they give to students, not just in recognising these awards, but in many ways in which they support learning and support our young people. And of course, events like this only make us appreciate more fully the role of teachers in New South Wales and the support they have given to their students and give their students every day. And we welcome those teachers who are celebrating the achievements of their students with us today as well. Thank you also to the parents, guardians, friends and family who foster and encourage reading and creativity in our children, and to creative forces like our MC Sara, whose efforts support and inspire young talent and let that flourish, grow and develop, which again is a wonderful thing. Finally, to all the students here, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your exciting literary journey. You should be very proud. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kale. And we now have a really exciting video to play, which will show us some of the faces of the WriteOn competition. So I think we'll dim the lights and get that on.
Let our pads kick up the dust.
Animals fled to escape the heat of the fire.
I tried to make myself believe our world would change.
Green leaves hide among barren red soil.
Like embers of the Empyrean.
He lay there in the scarce shade, unkempt and bone-weary.
We had been looking for 3 months and found nothing. A camel as fearless as you deserves more than just one hug.
They dream of green gardens, resplendent and lush.
Finally, Jack reached the pristine crystal blue lake.
The nights are so cold and the air seems to freeze.
Celebrating freedom with a lively dance.
Only courage could ensure her success.
Traveling along the unbeaten road.
And the camels majestically marched away.
Next, they had a stroll around the bush.
But the truth is, we were forced to be tourists.
How beautiful was that? So sweet. And now to give us a little taste of the incredible talent that we're celebrating today, please welcome Matt Villeneuve, a Year 3 student from Mona Vale Public School, who'll be reading his piece, Camel Riot from the Daily Khalifa. Welcome him.
The Daily Khalifa, 13th August 1913. The Camel Riot, by reporter Xavier Jaziri. Yesterday, at 2:47 p.m., a spectator told a reporter about a group of 26 men being thrown off the backs of camels just outside of Wadi al-Dawasir. The people were left stranded in the desert, and the camels majestically marched away, carrying the precious cargo. This was only the first of multiple incidents, during which camels were shown absence of respect, making grunting noises, sounding like they were calling their masters offensive names, and trying to walk away. One Bedouin who witnessed this unusual behavior assumed that the camels were rioting against people riding them. This is extremely inconvenient, as they are our main source of transport through the desert, he said. Perhaps the camels were fed up with serving us, having little water to drink and unpalatable twigs to chew on, forbidden from roaming around as they wish. Your reporter, on the other hand, doubts this is true in the slightest. Another spectator explained he believed the animals were just misunderstood. Could they just be too determined to get to their destination, he said, or, on the opposite side, too tired and deprived of rest? Again, your reporter failed to find proof for this theory, as the skipped camels were not resting nearby and were nowhere to be found. A third bystander told the reporter that these events may have been happening because the camels were lonely and wanted to be and play with friends and family. This idea was proved wrong too, as a large family of camels from outside of Rida also turned their backs on their masters and disappeared. While your reporter is writing this news article here, the problem is spreading fast, with approximately 3 incidents per hour. We have to do something as quick as we can. Luckily, all the professional camel whisperers are trying to bond with the animals, right as people read these words. We must promise ourselves we'll do everything in our power to stop this problem, to solve this mystery. We must unite. Or should we try to look for an alternative solution? It is known that mechanics all over the world are currently working on creating and testing a vehicle called an automobile. Although most elders I know seem unenthusiastic about it, as they believe this 562 real piece of metal could be dangerous and might even take over the world, no matter how much more obedient and less temperamental than camels it may be. Your reporter promises to keep you up to date on the story as more news emerges.
Thank you so much, Matt V. That was absolutely incredible. You should be so proud. Can I please welcome Dr. Takeo back up to the stage to help me present the gold winners with their awards? Maybe we can clap for him? Yay! So all of these winners have been published in the 2023 WriteOn anthology. Our first winner is Felicity Baker from St. Columbia Anglican School. Cynthia Kai from St. Ives North Public School, who unfortunately could not attend today. Samuel Marcus Cannon from Redeemer Baptist School. Adrian Dibb from St. Gertrude's Catholic Primary School. Eloise Francis from St. Joseph's Catholic Primary School. Dante Jenhong Jiang, also from Redeemer Baptist School. Matt Villeneuve, who we just heard from Mona Vale Public School. Elijah Lowe from Asquith Public School. Anya McGill from Caringbah North Public School. Chloe Oldfield from Bowral Public School. Isabel Page from Thornton Public School. Isaac Quinnell from Cardiff Public School. Thomas Selim. Jaden Summer from Mona Vale Public School. Renwan Tan from Carlingford West Public School. Caitlin G from Meridian School. Hilary Wan from Peakhurst Public School. And Clarice Jong also from Meriden School. A huge congratulations once again to all of our gold winners. We also have 18 silver and 18 bronze winners, and they're watching live online and celebrating at their local schools today. So a big congratulations also to all of you. Hopefully you've received your certificates and a copy of the anthology. So please continue to celebrate your achievement today, and it's such a big achievement. I'd like to now invite Andrew Cox, followed by Ifoma Obigbu, and then Amy Wong to treat us with a bit of a poetry slam performance. Please make Andrew feel welcome.
Good morning, New South Wales, young geniuses. My name is Andrew Cox. I woke up at silly o'clock this morning to get here from Ngunnawal, Ngambri country, Canberra, to give you one poem. So, thank you. I grew up on Darkinjung country on the Central Coast, where I wrote this poem. There's one guy at the back who's from Darkinjung country in the back. Where I wrote this poem, and I've been doing this for 10 years, so I had a lot of choice of what poem to perform today, but I'm choosing not to perform the poems that have won the awards or have been shortlisted, and instead perform the poem about not doing well in writing competitions. This is, I've been doing this for a long time now, but what I found in poetry slams, can everyone make a clicking sound? You do that if you hear something you like, and we also have this saying that goes around, which is, the point is not the points, but the point is the poetry. And that wasn't really my experience, because I saw a lot of pretty poetry, a lot of really extended metaphors, a lot of intricate similes, and it didn't really represent my story and my voice. And at its core, creative writing should be a celebration of your story and your voice. And today I'm choosing to give you a gift, so here goes. I've bled 1,000 times over for all of you in this room for the last 10 years. For clicks? Nah, truly for poetry. See, I am not a rhyme writer. I'm not a metaphor maker or simile creator. I have only ever just bled black-colored blood scratched into notebooks. I was 15 when I thought I was good at poetry. Now, I'm 20, screaming through microphones, would I refuse to write poems about this? It's not the sound of pretty poetry. I hope it's what art looks like. Am I beating and bleeding hard for all of you in this room? I'll spit my feelings in the hope that you might feel something, anything, everything all at once. The beating of your heart, the pumping of your blood. It sounds like music to me. I will stand as an instrument. This has always been for the audience, but please believe me when I say that this is not a performance. Spent the last 10 years learning this began and will end as blood on blank pages, but here I will pin them up on your rib cages. As you leave this place, may you continue to spread your stories 1,000 times over. May you continue to bleed, for poetry is more than this room. Poetry is more than pretty. Poetry is the reason I'm alive to tell this story. So, bleed with me. Burn with me. This world needs your color. I am starting to call myself an artist more than a writer. I am learning how to take brushstrokes to color, honesty inside and outside of my own lines. I am learning. There's so much I'm yet to learn. I am starting to call myself the space between these words. I am starting to call myself by name. Poetry is knowing who you are. This moment at these awards right here is the most honest I've ever been between 15 to 25. And for the first time in my life, I understand what they mean when they say that the point is not the points, but the point is the poetry.
Hello. Yeah, should be good. Hi, so my name is Ifoma. Could we please get another round of applause for Andrew? So amazing, and goosebumps every time. And just congratulations to all the winners, everyone that received an award. You are an inspiration to me. I was not doing this at your age. Not at all. The poem I wrote, it's about friendship, so I feel like that doesn't get written about a lot, and lately I've been diving into, I guess, a kind of love that you feel for your friends, because, you know, everyone has friends, right? Perfect, okay, good. So I feel like this is something we can all relate to. So please enjoy. This doesn't have a name, and I am not as talented as Andrew to the point where I can memorize a poem, so I have my phone. Alrighty. Dear friends, Mum and Dad told me never to talk to strangers. Teachers told me the same, warned me of the dangers that came with putting your soul into the universe for others to discover. Only letting my imagination run, wonder what life truly is about. I now live for a higher purpose. I saw a chance and grasped at it, violently wishing I had found what I had always been searching for, entities to explore this thing called life with, to make mistakes and learn with, to cry and laugh with, individuals that were the epitome of sensuality, optimism, insanity. They were peculiarly extraordinary, teaching me to love myself with everything I had, becoming a lifeline, are wise and strong-minded, never letting me forget that I still had the rest of my life to indulge in excitement, and that the only one judging me was myself, never allowing a frown to reside on my face despite their own adversaries stopping them from living their own truths. People so beautiful, it was like staring at the face of God. Heart of gold, mischief, and pure intentions always staying true to their word. I saw the ability to let myself roam free with my new kin, never by myself and always guided hand in hand, we would experience each lesson that the world threw at us. Dear friends, our souls aren't for sale. Spirits dance on a bed while the anxiety blasts in our eardrums as I forget about what awaits me when I have to depart from my safe haven. My personal space has never felt so happy to be invaded. You make the uncomfortable feel comfortable. No matter where we are existing, in the moment I'm passionately inspired to make art, make love, and make life my own. A new outlook, a different perspective on the way of living. Every time I close my eyes, I envision beings of love giggling and roaring in a fit of laughter as they have not a care in the world. I now imagine what would have been if I listened to the fatal words of the ones surrounding me, if I blocked my conscience from meeting yours. With that thought in my head, I consider myself a germaphobe. Power to us for breaking all the boundaries that previously halted us. Dear friends, we are infinite. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me, and congratulations to all the winners and everyone here. I'm just going to get straight into it. I walk into the dance studio with shivering kneecaps despite the stifling summer heat. This is the 97th time I've been in this room and still my eyes flicker, searching for the farthest corner, the darkest shadow to hide in, to shrink into myself in, like the way I've been trying to shrink into myself my whole life. Like the way I've been trying to hide from my voice my whole life, so that when I speak, I can barely recognize it. So that when I speak, I never even realize it's coming from my own lips. This is the 97th time I've been in this room. This is the 22nd time I've been in this room to dance with these exact people, and still I am 10 minutes late. I am 10 minutes late because I arrived 15 minutes early, because I've learnt to equate late with unwanted stares, because I spent 13 minutes waiting for the parking lot to empty and 12 minutes paralyzed, wedged between two rooms of regret, two spaces filled with inevitable embarrassment, 12 minutes wishing myself into some non-existent limbo. There is a reason I always choose invisibility as my superpower, despite my dreams of flying. This is the 97th time I've been in this room. This is the 22nd time I've been in this room to dance with these exact people. What I'm trying to say is that I love to dance. But dancing is not so fun when it's out of control. when my feet stay planted to the ground, but my hands quiver like the warp reflections on a moonlit river. What I'm trying to say is that my body always dances when I don't want it to, when the music isn't on, and I dance like everyone's watching because I always think everyone's watching. I wonder what it feels like not to regret every word I say. That's why I hide behind silence, because despite its name, it is often the loudest thing in the room. But that's why sometimes my voice is so small there is no room for stutter. But I always feel like the loudest thing in the room. I've learnt shadows are not always the best hiding places. They are tethered to the sun in a glorious daily dance, so I'm always left exposed. My heart's tremors rival the very earthquakes my waterfall eyes grieve every night. My mind runs championless races, whether dark or light. But this is the 97th time I've been in this room, and I still love to dance. Thank you.
Thank you once again so much, Andrew Cox, Afoma Obigbu, and Amy Wang, our amazing poets. I'm just going to do a shameless plug. But the Bankstown Poetry Slam runs monthly events on the last Tuesday of every month. So everyone is welcome to attend. It's kid-friendly. It's not at a bar or anything. It's at an arts centre. So if anyone's interested in coming along, please do come. And we also run workshops. So if anyone's interested in that, get in touch. Sorry. Now we're going to have a little video to set the scene for the Young Writers Showcase.
Being able to read a text from a different author in a different context and be able to resonate so fiercely with what they're saying is a beautiful thing.
This is your work, and you have the creative authority to pick and choose the advice that stays true to your purpose.
Push the boundaries of form and content as much as you possibly can.
Think about your characters as real people with real emotions. Think about how they walk, they talk, the quirks that might make your characterization as nuanced as possible.
Not to listen to people who claim to think that they know better. Don't let them set you back, because the world needs to hear what you have burning inside you.
An expression of creativity and a demonstration of thoughtfulness in the world.
Express something intangible and make it tangible by bringing it to life in words.
I think it awards not only a voice to issues, but to people. I think writing is a tool for reaction and commentary.
So incredibly inspiring. And now please join me in welcoming back to the stage State Librarian of New South Wales, Dr. John Ballance.
Thank you, Sara. I don't think I've ever been so self-conscious in my entire life of being an old guy in a suit after that. That was just fantastic. We love the Poetry Slam here at the library, and we think that if you can read and if you can write, you can do anything. You can be anyone. I've just been taking down little notes here. I love this idea that you can put your soul into the universe for others to discover. I mean, that's in a sense what reading and writing is about. I love the idea that you can't hide behind silence. I mean, I love this idea that poetry turns words into magic. I mean, poetry does things that ordinary prose just can't even imagine doing. Poetry really is more. If you're wondering how it is that the State Library managed to muscle its way into this fantastic celebration, there are all sorts of bits to that story, but my bit goes back a long time. I was up in Newcastle at an art gallery in Newcastle looking at an Art Express exhibition. You probably know about Art Express. The best HSC works get put on a show and they get taken around New South Wales. And there are two women looking at the works on the wall of this Newcastle art gallery, and they were saying, my God, if these people carried on with this work after they left school, just imagine what the cultural life of New South Wales would be. And I thought, well, that's absolutely true. You look at Art Express every year, but it's actually exactly the same with Extension to English, and not just extension to English. If these people didn't just see this as something they needed to do to get through the HSC and get to university, but actually could make it part of their lives. You don't have to become a professional writer, but you can certainly make reading and writing part of your life. And I think sometimes we patronize people at school a little bit too much. I think here we haven't really got a sense of just how high the standards that are reached here. It's one thing to pat people on the back and say, oh, you've done very well. But you have a look at this year's Young Writers Showcase afterwards. You actually read these works. I'm not going to single anyone out specifically. Dr. Cale has said something about the background, and in a moment we're going to be hearing from Rose Mitchell, just to give you a bit of a sample. But you have a look at this. And I think you'll see what I mean. So following in Sara's footsteps, I'm going to have a shameless plug here, and the shameless plug is going to be for your library. Yeah, this is a beautiful building. One of the purposes of beautiful pieces of public architecture is that they give everyone, regardless of their background, whether they're rich or poor, healthy or sick, anyone can feel that they're being taken seriously. You can go into that reading room, whoever you are, and you'll be treated the same. That is the magic of this place, of this library. I'm hoping if you haven't been here before, you'll make the State Library part of your life. We'll be here with you for every single step of the way. I want you to go home, go online, apply for a library card. If you have a State Library card, you can do things like look at all the newspapers free of charge every day. You've got access to databases, all sorts of collections of all sorts of material that otherwise you'd have to pay thousands of dollars in subscriptions for. Come to some of our education programs, our holiday programs. Look at the what's on the website. Even if you can't make it to Macquarie Street, because I know some of you have travelled a long way to come here today, you can do a lot of these things online. We have one of the best public library networks in the world, and it's really just there for you to use. So remember, if you can read and write, you can do anything, you can be anyone. You've heard some fantastic examples of where that can lead. I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going to take you, and we're looking forward at the State Library to joining you on that amazing trip. So with that, by way of a little introduction, am I allowed to introduce Rose? Okay, thanks, Sara. I have great pleasure in inviting Rose Mitchell to come up and give you a sample of what I've been talking about.
So for my major work, I wrote a short story. It's about a biographical critic who goes to Cuba to try and uncover the true meaning of Hemingway's novella, The Old Man and the Sea. So I'll just read a brief excerpt from the opening. Havana, Cuba, July 2002. My room in the Ambos Mundos Hotel appeared larger in the brochure, with views that stretched all the way to the purple ocean and rolling green hills. Now I am here, however, new meaning has been added to that old expression, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. The room itself is no larger than a broom cupboard, and the window offers a somewhat less picturesque view, consisting largely of an elaborate coiling of electrical wires and the shopfront of a laundromat with peeling yellow paint. It is July, and the fan above rotates so slowly it is almost painful to watch. In fact, I am so hot, I briefly consider the possibility of contorting myself into a small enough shape to fit inside the refrigerated minibar that hums in the corner. Reluctantly, I turn my eyes back to the papers on my desk. On the hardcover of one of the biographies I brought along, Ernest Hemingway stares up at me, obscured behind a cloud of cigarette smoke. He is only 28 in the picture, but the ink stain on his right thumb looks as if it has been there forever. So dark already, it could be a tattoo. The black and white of the photograph gives a harshness to his gaze. The creases around his eyes are made deeper, more demanding. But the light that streams in from the window, just outside this shot, grants a warm relief. If the window had been in the shot, you would see the low Cuban skyline in the distance and an old building with a fresh coat of yellow paint. I know this because the photograph was taken exactly 1 floor up from where I am now. Room 511 in the Ambos Mundos has its door permanently open so visitors can crane their necks inside to see the bed where Hemingway slept, the desk where he wrote, and the typewriter he wrote with. It was here Hemingway returned to time and time again throughout his life. Between these 4 walls, he wrote the final line of "For Whom the Bells Toll." Unfortunately, whatever literary magic Hemingway found here has not rubbed off on me. I intended to visit Cuba to get started on a new critical work I'd been thinking about for some time, a work that would tie everything to a neat closure, like one of those cozy crime shows they play on TV. In these shows, the perfect string of clues, a bloodstain, a missing shoe, a single thread of wed silk, lead us so lovingly by the hand to a conclusion, an aha. Naturally, Cuba was the place that would let me play the role of Sherlock Holmes. Here, I told the university's board of tight-lipped administrators, I'd be able to see everything the way Hemingway did. With a magnifying glass in hand, the images and symbols I could never quite piece together in my mind would fall so suddenly, so miraculously into place, and I would shake my head wondering how I had never seen them that way before. But it has been 3 days since I arrived, and the Word document on my MacBook is despairingly blank. What is it about the city that makes scholarly thought so difficult? If it is not the heat that stifles an idea, it is the barking of dogs that echo through the labyrinth of narrow lamplit passageways, or the smell of rotting guava that rises from the street below in the evening after the vendors have packed up, leaving behind in the gutter anything that did not sell. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Rose. How gorgeous and extremely poetic. I'd love to read the whole thing. Gimme. Okay, so how do you, sorry, gimme. Gimme. Okay, so Dr. Valence, if I can please ask you to come back up onto the stage to help us present the certificates and anthologies to each of our published authors, starting with Munira Tabassum Ahmed from Balcombe Hills High School. Next, we have Max Bierman from Mullumbimby High School. Unfortunately, he could not attend today, but we'll still give him a round of applause. And we have Ruby Buckridge from Newcastle Grammar School. Abby Burden from Wollongong High School of the Performing Arts, who unfortunately also could not be here today, but we'll still give them a round of applause. And Nicholas Disher from Newington College. Lenny Dowling, Cape Byron Rudolph Steiner School. Andreas Karadzis from Tempe High School. Georgia Kuchel from Coffs Harbour High School. Dia Kumar from Elizabeth MacArthur High School. Andy Lawrence from Camden High School. Victoria Miller from Emmanuel School. Rose Mitchell, who we just heard from St. Scholastica's College. Amy Russell from Winona School. Haritu Saha from Moyfields High School. I love that. That's so good. Imogen Smith from Engadine High School. And just a couple more who unfortunately couldn't be here today. Jack Story from Sydney Grammar School and Tom Verco from Barker College. And please join me in giving another big round of applause to all of our Young Writers Showcase authors. So that brings us to the close of today's event. Thank you so much for joining us today at the 2023 New South Wales Student Literary Awards. Thank you to all the schools and especially to all the teachers across New South Wales. Especially the teachers who continue to inspire, motivate and nurture creativity, imagination and storytelling and empowering these young people to speak their truths. I think that's so beautiful, so thank you. For everyone who's joined us live online, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and best of luck.